What's up?
What's up guys, welcome to another video. So in this video, I'm going to talk about coaching in the FGC, specifically coaching in between sets in a tournament setting. I'm going to be clear, I'm not referring to just like regular coaching, like you have someone to give you advice on what you did wrong. Maybe after the tournament set, let's say you lose to somebody, you go to them like, hey, you know, what I could have done better here, what I should have done here. I don't know about such and such situation. Am I plus there, am I minus, could I have punished, blah, blah, blah. I think it's good to have a coach in that situation to help you get better, because I'm about, you know, you improving in fighting games. But that's either after or before the set or while you're at home training or whatever. I think that's cool to have someone, a mentor, to help you out. Now, my issue is when you're in a tournament, you lose the first game and you have someone sitting next to you there able to tell you what you did wrong, what your gaps in knowledge were, so on and so forth, giving you help so you'll be able to win the set a little bit easier. Here's why I have a problem with that. Fighting games are a 1 versus 1 game. One mind versus another. It's not a team game. Now, let's say you have a fighting game event where you have 3v3s. Okay, that's a team game. You console each other, blah, blah, blah. That's fine. But in most cases, a tournament is between one person versus one person. Because fighting games are about applying your knowledge of the game and adapting to your opponent. If you didn't do the work in the lab, you don't know the MU, and because of that you lose a set, that's on you. You need to take that experience, go to the lab those situations, play other people in the matchups at home, play it in casuals, so you do better next time in the tournament. When two people look at a similar situation, they can see totally different things. And as a player in a stressful situation in a tournament, it's very easy for you to miss certain things. I mean, yeah, you're playing the match, but you could be missing things you just don't know. There's nerves involved. You may not see certain things that your opponent is doing that a spectator can see that they're doing. So let's say you're in a tournament set, you lose the first game, you go back to character select so you can think about, you know, collect your thoughts. During that period, if you have a coach, you have two people discussing the same situation. So in that situation, you have two minds going against one, thinking about how to adapt to a certain situation. If the player doesn't know a certain type of frame data, they lack some MU knowledge, their coach, assuming they're a high level player, they'll be able to tell them these things, fix those gaps in knowledge, so it'll be more difficult for the other player to win game 2, because knowledge the opponent didn't have before, now they do have because they got coached and they were given that information. I've heard some arguments be like, well, you know, it's up to the player, they still have to execute it, which is 100% true. No one's gonna grab the controller and play for you. But at the highest level, execution isn't really gonna be an issue. If you're told a certain thing, if it's not like super timing based, you're gonna be able to execute it no problem. And no matter what, that'll still give you a little edge in the set. The way I see it, if you're unable to adapt to a situation yourself, or you didn't lab enough, you didn't know the matchup, you were playing a Street Fighter tournament, you didn't want to lab Dan because he's a low tier character and you get bodied for it, or you're playing Grand Blue and you're going against the Wayne, you didn't feel like labbing the character and then he's getting away with all this nonsense, well, that's your own fault for not putting the work in and labbing. I don't think it's fair to have someone next to you be able to tell you all this information when it's you as a player, your responsibility to learn this information and figure this out yourself prior to the tournament. Other people have like these two arguments. You're like, well, you know, you could have a coach too. Both players can have a coach. Or I hear this one a lot. Oh, in sports, you know, both basketball teams and the football teams, they both have a coach and whatnot. Now, in terms of the sports, first of all, they're a team game and they're designated a coach. So no matter what team it is, they're all gonna have a coach. When you're playing a 1v1 fighting game, you're not gonna be given a coach by some FGC league or anything like that. Your coach is gonna be like your friend if you happen to have one, or a high level player you're cool with. In a 1v1 game, you should not be forced to get outside help to help you, because it's a 1v1 game. Why am I gonna have to worry about getting a second person? And if you want to talk about fairness, well, not everyone can get a coach. Maybe they're from a non-English speaking country that's not Japan. They're the only one really in their scene that actually plays at a high enough level to really understand the game. And when they travel to, let's say, America and stuff like that, they're not going to really have anyone to help them because they travel by themselves. So some people can't get a coach. So in that aspect, if you want to say, oh, you can get your own coach, well, I'm going to say not everyone can get a coach. So I don't believe it's fair that you should have one in that situation. Now, I'm going to be honest, getting coaching mid-set is not the biggest help. It's not an amazing advantage, but it is a small advantage. And just being a small advantage, that's still unfair. That's still unfair to the other player that does not have a coach helping them out mid-set. But nowadays, let's be honest, everything is online. I'm not worried about if somebody has a coach in an online tournament, they have their friend helping them out. That's whatever. I'm not really worried about it. It's online, it's not a big deal, and let's be honest, there's just no way to enforce it. But when offline comes back full force, I really disagree with you having like a buddy there helping you out, giving you advice during the set. I think it's fine to get advice right before the set, but it's fine. Before and after. Giving advice before the set is fine. They can just give you some general information about the opponent's character that they might pick, because they don't even know which character they're actually going to pick. They can just pick a totally different one. So I think that's fine. That's no big deal. And advice after the set, after you get your ass beat or after you lose, and they can give you advice of what to do better, whether you win or lose. That's perfectly fine, that's cool. But getting advice mid-set, it's not right. Think of it this way. You gotta go and do a math test, right? You're at home, you're studying, you do all the work, blah, blah, blah. That's the labbing, the practicing, the casual sets, all that good stuff. When you get in the test, if you're in the math test and you didn't do enough studying, you don't know an answer to the question, you can't wait till halfway through the test and call a teacher and be like, hey, I don't know how to do this particular thing. I don't know if this is plus or minus. Can you, help me out here? And then they give you the answers and then you're able to do it for the second half of the test. No, it doesn't work that way. You're on your own. If you didn't do the work, you didn't study, you didn't work your ass off in the lab practicing matchups, well, then that's your own fault. So instead of having a coach there to give you the answers during the set, you should put more work into the game, figure out how the game works better, figure out all the matchups that you want to be playing, and get used to reading player tendencies so you can practice adapting to those situations. So yeah guys, that's about it for the video today. If you guys enjoyed, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter and Twitch, and I'll see you guys next time.